It's time for a random review.
All right, welcome to the original Geek Random Review. We set the topic, the dice set the direction, we know what we're reviewing, we just don't know how. Hi, I'm Steve Scarfo.
And I'm Jeff Shaw, and tonight we're going to random review the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which has been out for a little bit, and I know it had a bit of a second week slump, but we're here to help give it the original geek bump. Go out, see it.
That's the kind of clout we have.
That's right.
We're going to take a Star Wars property and bring it right out of the basement.
That's what we do. It's how we do.
That's too crazy.
I have to say, like, do you think, because, when they're comparing these box office numbers, and I know this isn't part of the random review, but I do wonder, when someone thinks, okay, it's a Star Wars movie, I pay for Disney Plus, eventually it's going to be there, I'm not going to have to pay for it. Like, I feel like comparing today's box office numbers with movies in the past where you don't know when that's coming out on streaming or when that's going to be available. So you go and you see it. But when you know, like, yeah, I'm just going to wait and it'll be on that thing I pay for every month.
I think this is a weird, unique cross-section for that, right? Because there are Star Wars movies that come out just as movies, and then they make their way to Disney Plus. This one started on Disney Plus. It's like trying to reverse engineer the process, and I think that could be hurting them, because I think you're right. People are like, well, started on Disney Plus. They did a movie release, which is great, but it's, like you said, it's eventually going to come back to Disney Plus. So we saw it in the theater because we really wanted to.
Yeah.
And honestly, to prepare for this, we wanted to make sure we had a great viewing experience, and we did. It was awesome. But it is hard to justify. I mean, let's be honest. It's $15-20 a ticket. It's $10-15 per person to get, popcorn and soda. And so you're looking at $30 to $35 per person to go to a movie that in not a very long period of time will be on your screen at home for the $12 a month that you spend.
Yeah.
And then you can watch it whenever you want. You can pause it and go pee. You can, which I always have to do. You know what I mean? So I think you're right. I think it's just a weird, you can't compare it to like Disclosure Day or Project Hail Mary, which never had a TV presence and will eventually stream. I think it actually is already streaming.
And I think what helps convince me to go is opening weekend, I saw it in 3D, which I don't have the ability to do at home. So it had a different experience, and the 3D effect was awesome. And then the two of us saw it in IMAX. And that was amazing. The sound, like, I don't have that kind of sound at home, and that size screen at home. So the spectacle of it in both 3D and IMAX, can't do that at home. And so I thought the experience of seeing it in the theater was fantastic. And plus, I want more Star Wars in the theater, and that's not going to happen if we don't go and see it in the theater and pay for it with our dollars. So.
Yeah. I want to jump into the review, but I will say I think this one I think is more on them, because I think they tried something new with the marketing, and I think it just wasn't, I won't call it a failure because it's a great movie. I think the marketing might have been lackluster because of everything that we just talked about. It's hard to justify because I already pay to go pay again for a property that started. I think the legacy of the property pulls it down a little bit. I also, I don't know why. I've heard that this thing didn't get the best reviews, which is just hard for me to hear. And I can't even cite a source. I saw a couple articles right after it came out that it was kind of, people were basically saying what we're saying is like, it should have just been an episode of the TV show or a season of the TV show. It shouldn't have been a standalone movie.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I got a roll for you.
Oh, you got a roll for me. Goodness, you think I'd remember that?
19, successful charisma. The Palace Droid Brawl. Grogu leads the charge against the palace guards, a crowd-pleasing riot. The absolute highlight of general audiences was the final palace break-in. Watching Grogu use the Force to clear a path to the massive wave of droid security forces, while Din Djarin dueled Embo was an absolute.
So I'm assuming this is the scene where they break him out.
Yes.
Because it's not quite the end of the movie. There's more at the Hutts. So I don't know. Is this the breaking out of the
Hutts? Yes, this
is
from
the Hutts.
Yes.
Okay. So, and by the way, they're both great scenes, which is why I'm sort of like, hey, which one are we talking about? But that last scene at the Hutts, back after they realize, and spoilers, the reveal here that they were. That's not really a spoiler if you get screwed by the Hutts. It's sort of an expectation.
Yeah.
But that Mando got screwed by the Hutts, so he's back there to rescue. Is it Din Djarin? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. I mean, I will say it was a little frustrating throughout the episode. Throughout the movie, that Grogu didn't use the Force very often. Not as much as I was expecting. Like in the first 2 seasons of the show, he started to grow in power more and more. But in the movie, for the first 2/3, he does a few things. It's not like he never does it, but you expect more because he's been growing in power. And then they see it at the end. So I think the payoff, I think they built in a real frustration early on to make that payoff feel even better. Because it was a great scene, and to see him tossing droids, and he actually saves. Does he save? He saves one of them. They're dropping, and he just stops the drop.
Yeah. That's he saves Rhoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was great. I think it was an awesome scene.
Yeah. I thought that the saving of Rhoda and the defeat of the Hutts, that was great. The duel with that bounty hunter, and it's because I'm not watching the cartoons. I think this was Embu is in a cartoon, but I thought of it, and I haven't gone back and watched it, but Leia, when she was disguised as a bounty hunter to free Han Solo from the carbonite, kind of looked similar, had that big hat.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's what I thought the callback was. And in a similar way, that the callback that I loved, absolutely loved, the gladiator scene when they're all fighting in the gladiator pit, and all the other creatures come out. And it wasn't until the creatures came out that I noticed that the round and then the shapes on the floor match the chess game from when R2-D2 and Chewbacca played that chess game on the Millennium Falcon in the very first Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was eating member berries. That thing. I'm like, member Chewbacca. And I loved it. I loved the member berries in the Mandalorian and Grogu. I was ready.
It was great.
Oh, and member berries too for the snow scene that we open up with, the stormtroopers in white and all the AT-ATs, like very reminiscent of
Empire,
right?
Yeah. I will say, I think, is it Embu? Is that Embo?
Is the bounty hunter?
The bounty hunter. I think he's in season 1.
Okay.
He's either in season 1 of Mandalorian and Grogu, or he's in the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
Because that character did make an appearance. And now that I say that, I think it was the Book of Boba Fett, because Boba Fett shows up at almost a Tatooine-style desert planet, and he's there to help. And this guy comes out, and they have a duel. So it's the same. I think it's the same character. If it's not exactly the same guy, then it's another bounty hunter just like him. But that character was definitely in Book of Boba Fett. All right.
Roll for me.
You ready? Ready. What do we got here? Oh, I got a low 3 again. 3, failed fortitude. The Nal Hutta slump. The extended underworld negotiations with the Hutt twins. Plot heavy dragging. audiences felt the middle section of the film, this is almost like the last one we did, the middle section of the film suffered from a massive pacing dip. The lengthy back and forth contract negotiations with Jabba's successors felt far too bureaucratic for what was marketed as a high-octane space adventure.
You know what's funny about this? First of all, I completely disagree.
Yeah.
I didn't think that this was bad at all or took too long. The Hutt twins, I was worried about them inbreeding because they were a little too close. I thought they were maybe Siamese twins, and then we had this over the side shot with them yin-yanging, kind of a head to butt kind of thing, or crotch.
It was definitely an incestuous moment.
Okay, you two. It's funny because so when I saw it opening weekend in 3D, I saw it with my mom and my aunt Barbara, and my mom was like, "Oh, it's just too much action." It was like there wasn't enough dialogue and character building. And like,
your mom knows she went to see a Star Wars movie, right?
That's what I was thinking. Like, okay, so I'm gonna say, since what I heard, so I didn't feel that, and then. Yeah, because my mom would have been like, when they were just kind of chit-chatting about the negotiations, I love that part.
So this is like exactly, this is a question for your mom, and she'd be like, no, it was awesome.
Like, that's the best part. I did not feel at all like there was any time, any character dialogue was overweighty or overlong. In fact, I felt after talking to my mom, maybe the opposite, that maybe they could have used a little more dialogue, a little more storytelling for those who may have gone to it, like my mom, thinking, oh man, I don't know who these characters are, because she never watched the TV show. And so she was lost and wanted to know more.
She knows this isn't like the Mandalorian Diaries, right?
Like, yeah, you don't. Okay. But in any case, so I disagree. I didn't find it plot heavy. I didn't find it draggy. And if anything, I would say we could have used more of an explanation as to why the new Republic would think working with the Hutts. Like, why were they bamboozled? Because they were like,
we're trying to work with them.
We wanted you to be friendly with them. How dare you just capture the card? How dare you go to the ace of spades or whatever he was? Like, how dare you do that and bypass the Hutts? We need the Hutts. Like, really? Like, why? Why did you actually think that the Hutts were going to be straight dealing with you?
Well, and it's funny because I think a lot of what you're talking about is the reasons why people were not upset with it, but just it felt episodic. It wasn't like, to me, the stakes were minimal. It was Mando going on he comes back from a run. We see that run complete successfully, and he's awesome at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of the movie. He goes back to the New Republic. They give him the Ace of Spades, like you're talking about. But it's just like another bounty. Oh, go collect this bounty. And it becomes a bigger story because it becomes a more difficult path. But it didn't feel like there was any huge stakes set up at the beginning. And there were no huge resolutions at the end. Do we meet some interesting characters? Does he save the guy at the end? The Jabba's son, who turns out to be a good guy. Like, yep, we see all that. And a muscular Hutt was very weird to see.
Jacked.
He was jacked. But it's like, it just felt like it could have been an episode. Like, are they going to make another one where we just see yet another bounty get collected? It seems like there were no raising of the stakes.
Yeah, I think, so I guess if we're looking failed fortitude, that would be the real failed fortitude that, I think in their desperation to make it a standalone property, that they missed an opportunity to connect it to the next step. So I think, because that's what I read, is that this was initially supposed to be season 4's plot, and you would have seen how it connected to Ahsoka, to General Thrawn to the wider plot. And then they eliminated all those things that would have made it seem like, oh, we're just giving you some background we're just setting the stage for the next thing.
Right.
So,
Well, it's too bad. I mean, listen, go see it. It's still a great movie. Typically, when we're doing these reviews, we're doing it because we like the properties that we're talking about, right? We try to recognize.
It's not our fault that Steve rolled a 3. He could have rolled a critical hit. We would have talked something else.
Yes.
How dare he?
The demise of the twins would have been awesome to talk about. But we talk about, if we find failings with these movies, we're going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to tell you, yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. This part was a little weak, but that to me is what makes this more fun. So I hope you guys find it fun. Keep listening, keep watching, keep sharing, keep liking. I keep threatening to do some sort of a giveaway. We're going to have to do one of those these days and get people involved. And I haven't said this in a while, but if you guys have something you want us to review that we haven't talked about, send us a note. originalgeekpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. And get the merch. It's Father's Day coming up.
Merch.
Got some good merch. Got the Bunker Geek. I went with Star Wars, which I know we don't have any merch for.
No Star Wars
but
merch.
There's some other great merch. Oh, and the last random review for Spider Noir, I was wearing our Stephen King shirt. So if you got a Stephen King fan dad, get that Stephen King shirt. I got it right here, actually, so I can
there we go.
Show it off. Father's Day coming up. Get the King of Nightmares Original Geek shirt for
Well, and I don't have any mock-ups to share at the moment, but if you're a fan, and we will talk about it at future episodes of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series.
Yeah.
We have some Dungeon Crawler Carl t-shirts inspired by the books. So go out and check new stuff and then come back and hang with us for the next episode.
COGs.